Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Well, we're seeing a sunny and warm start across Metro Detroit here at noon. The local forecasters are tracking the week ahead for you. Plus, 3 people are dead and a 4th person is in the hospital this afternoon after a shooting at a Detroit Coney Island. We'll have the latest on the investigation. But first, breaking news here at noon. The man known as White Boy Rick is officially a free man. That tops our newscast here at noon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Evrod Cassimy. Rick Wershey, well, he was just released from prison from law enforcement custody in Florida around 10 this morning. It's Wershey's first time being free since his drug arrest back in 1987. Local 4 defender Sean Lay joins us now live. And Sean, today is a day that many thought we would never see.
And it's a huge day for Rick Wershey and his family. I can tell you exactly what it looked like the moment Rick Wershey stepped out into his free life now. Most people are hoping for the rest of his life that he never goes back. He had his head covered. He was met by his girlfriend. They both got into a BMW, and without saying a word, the two of them drove off. They're headed right back here to Metro Detroit, and we have news about why he's coming right back home. After 32 years in prison for drug crimes and then his role in a stolen car ring, Rick Wershey, the man known as White Boy Rick on the streets of Detroit, is free at this noon hour. So many saying Wershey should have never been behind bars for so long. As a kid, he was an informant, helping the feds identify and arrest Detroit drug kingpins and Detroit police officers on the take. The Local 4 defenders speaking with Wershey's attorney, and Wershey himself speaking to the defenders during his ordeal over the years.
Given the amount of help that he gave to the government, given the way they used him, and then just basically abandoned him, none of this should have happened.
I'm not White Boy Rick. I'm Rick. I'm not the person I was made out to be. I did some bad things, but it was a life that I was pushed into. And the second half of my life, I'm going to do some good with it. The people that have fought so hard for me, I'm not going to let them down.
So the man known as White Boy Rick, leaving White Boy Rick in a prison cell. Rick Wershey, the man who's now 51 years old, headed right back here to Metro Detroit. The defenders just got done interviewing his attorney, who is based here locally, and he tells me he has to come back to Metro Detroit because he is still on parole for his crimes here in Michigan and will be on parole for more than a year. So he has until Thursday to get back here to check in with the state parole officer. One more thing, Evrod. Food comes up a lot when we talk about Rick Wershey. He's been behind bars for 32 years, tired, of course, of prison food. He's recently been on work release, working at a law firm. So impressed by Chick-fil-A. He told his attorney, have you ever had it? It's fantastic. So you can bet on his long drive back to Metro Detroit, he'll probably be hitting a Chick-fil-A. We're live downtown right now. Sean Lay, Local 4 defenders, back to you.
All righty. Sean, thank you for the update there. Of course, as Sean mentioned, we're going to have complete coverage for you throughout the day here on Local 4, as well as on clickondetroit.com. In other news, or other top story this afternoon, 3 people are now dead, and there's a 4th person who is in the hospital right now after a shooting at a Coney Island. It happened at the A. Eagles Coney Island, right in the area of Joy Road and Dexter. That's on Detroit's west side. Grant Herms joins us now live with an update on the investigation. Grant?
Yeah, Rod, the big update here this afternoon is police have someone in custody in connection with this triple homicide and quadruple shooting at this Coney Island. I want you to take a look at some video from last night, a very crowded scene at about 11 o'clock. A worker inside that Coney Island told our team this morning there were several people eating in the restaurant when a suspicious man walked in and just sort of stood there and looked around for a little bit. After a few minutes, one of the customers inside tried to leave, and that's when that man started shooting. Now, he shot 4 men inside. 2 of them died in the restaurant, another just outside the front door. That 4th man was taken to a nearby hospital in critical condition. We also know there's security camera video of the shooting. We have reached out to the owners of this Coney Island here, but have not heard back from them. But one person we met out here said they saw the aftermath of that shooting.
He was just stretched. That nigga body was stretched outside of the Coney Island, face covered. They ain't really care about nothing else.
Police tell us they don't think this was a random shooting. They think there was a fight or altercation of some kind at a different place before all of this happened last night. We are expecting a press conference with Police Chief James Craig a little later this afternoon to hopefully get a few more answers. But again, 4 people shot here, 3 of them killed and 1 critically injured at Joy and Dexter. Everett.
All right, Grant Hearns reporting live for us this afternoon. Thank you for the update. Right now, though, we do want to keep you updated on the forecast and switch gears just a little bit. Meteorologist Brandon Roos standing by for us from his front porch studio. Good afternoon. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. It's very nice out here, very warm, sun and clouds, still a little muggy, but we've got a little midday relief coming our way. Let's explain. Temperatures out there near 80 degrees here around most of Metro Detroit, but look at Traverse City at 65 degrees. So a little cool front just to our north that will be sliding down without much in the way of foul weather. It will kick up the winds a little bit. In the meantime, we have upper 70s and low 80s. It is 82 Lapeer, 82 Mount Clemens, 82 Grosse Ile, and 80 at Metro. The humidity makes it feel 1 or 2 degrees warmer, but again, we are getting some relief as we go through the early mid-afternoon. Middle 80s for highs, and other than a breeze, a nice mix of sun and clouds. Anybody heading out on the boats on the big lakes will see a bit of a chop, could be 1 to 2 feet. Just a warning with that. But that's really about it for now, Evrod. We do have a little bit of wet weather to track with you in the 7-day forecast coming up.
All righty. Brandon, thank you. We'll see you in just a little bit. We want to get everybody updated now on the latest on the coronavirus fight here in Michigan. The state reported 483 new cases and 2 more deaths in just the past day. That brings our total case count to more than 73,000, with more than 55,000 recovered. In the meantime, Congress is back at work today. They're trying to fix the coronavirus economic crisis. Here's Tracy Potts in Washington this afternoon with the Republican plan that's already facing a possible veto from President Trump.
We learned overnight that a couple of top Republicans are headed to the White House today to meet with President Trump to explain what they want to do here and try to get him on board. Another $1 trillion. That's what Republicans plan to pitch this week for businesses shattered by coronavirus. Money for schools and childcare, lawsuit protection, another round of $1,200 checks to Americans, and tax breaks for businesses. President Trump wants more.
I'll have to see, but yeah, I would consider not signing it if we don't have a payroll tax cut.
Republicans can't agree what to include. It's a lot less than the $3 trillion Democrats approved.
Don't ask me why the Republicans do what they do, but I do know that they can't continue in that way. We have to end this virus. That's what concerns me.
And President Trump is once again at odds with his own health experts.
I don't agree with the statement that if everybody wear a mask, everything disappears.
States insist it's about the science.
We need to wear a mask. That example needs to be set by our national leadership.
We simply found that they work.
But without consistent rules on wearing masks, the U.S. continues to break records for new cases. In fact, we broke a record on Friday with more than 77,000 new cases in just one day. From Washington, I'm Tracy Potts.
Tracy, thank you. Here at home now, protesters are arrested for blocking Detroit school buses that were trying to pick up students for summer school classes. Police say they arrested 3 people for disorderly conduct after protesters used cars to try and stop school buses from leaving a lot on Detroit's west side. Protesters believe students should not be in schools during the pandemic. All buses were eventually able to leave.
There was some delay. I don't know what the total impact was, but I want everybody to understand that I understand what the protesters are doing, but they have to realize that there are school children on corners standing by waiting for these buses to pick them up. So we create a dangerous situation by holding these school buses up.
Protesters have filed a lawsuit to try and stop summer school. There's a hearing scheduled for next week. Still to come here on Local 4 News at noon, the race to slow the spread of coronavirus in the nation's newest hotspots. Starting today, a new mask mandate begins at some of the nation's biggest retailers. And a tragedy in New Jersey after a deadly shooting at the home of a federal judge. We have details next.